Yeah, good day, everyone, and welcome to today's class. So, my name is Nawaz Ashfo, and then I'll be taking you through prototyping and micro interactions in Figma. It's going to be a fun ride, so buckle up and then let's go. Right. So, like I said, we'll be talking about prototyping and then micro interactions in Figma. So, for this particular lesson, we'll be looking at what prototyping is, what it actually does, right, in our designs, and we also look at micro interactions in Figma, where you can have a look at building normal hover effects. You can look at having loading screens. We have the use of variables in making the interactions and all that. Right. Then you also be looking at prototyping best practices, the principles governing it. We have micro interactions and design principles, right? Then we jump into a practical session where we actually have fun building interactive prototypes. Right, so without much I say, let's move on. Yeah, so simply put, to say a prototype is more of like creating an interactive mockup to simulate user experience. Right, yeah, so you sometimes see designers or UX designers with let me say hi-fi designs or mockups which they've mirrored on their phone, right? And then you can actually interact with it. If the person doesn't tell you this is a prototype, you actually don't even know because everything is working. You can type, you can all conditions and everything is working, right? Yeah, so that's basically what a prototype is, right? So you being able to create an interactive right mockup for users to interact with is what we term as prototyping. It's just like the name says prototype, right? So it's a prototype of the actual work that is yet to be done, and then we do this to test and all that, right? So then we look at why a prototype is important, right? So one, it helps in the early user testing and feedback. When you get your prototypes, you don't have to even build your high fidelity designs to test it out. With your low fidelity designs, you can quickly add interactions to them. You take it out there, and then you can um, actually let people interact with it. So looking at layouts, looking at how buttons are going to play and all that, you can actually take it out there, and then they will interact with it and then tell, oh, this layout, let's do it this way, this layout, let's do it that way, right? So you don't even get too much cost in there. And then you also look at identifying usability issues before development, just like I said. So even jumping into high fidelity designs, in your low fidelity designs or mid fidelity designs, you can create interactive prototypes on them, take it out there for testing, and then you identify usability issues even before developers start to develop them, right? And then it also helps in communicating design intent effectively. See, most of we designers, we do our designs in our Figma file, and then we assume developers should know their way around it, right? But when you add prototypes to it, even in your absence, developers can actually play the prototype and then follow through the flow, right? So you don't even have to come and then say, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. But rather, you play the prototype and then you know, okay, if I tap on this button, this is the next screen that has to come. If I tap on this button, this error page has to come, or it should check and then make sure your input fields are as they are active and filled before you can sign in. If not, it will throw an error. Yes, so all those things that we add in our prototypes will actually help to communicate the intent of the design effectively, and to guide the developers when they are developing. Because trust me, if you don't do it, you do a nice design, and your our able developers will also do what they want, right? And they'll be like, the designer didn't, you understand? So we have to actually aid in communicating the intent of the design, and we can do so through prototyping, right? And then it also helps to save time and then resources in the long run. So assuming you don't actually do your prototype, and then you reach to a part where you've actually done a detailed high fidelity design, right? And then you have to make changes to them. Yeah, you have to make changes to them, which is going to be very difficult, and then it's going to be very time consuming, because you have to sit down and then go back and then do all those changes, which is not good, right? So early prototyping helps to save the time and the resources, right? So it's far cheaper to iterate on a prototype than to rebuild the whole coded feature. Understand? Yeah. So moving from prototypes, we get to learn about micro interactions, right? So what are micro interactions? Micro interactions are subtle animations and visual feedback that occurs when users interact with a UI element. Right, so a micro interaction can be a hover effect. When you hover on a button, maybe it gives you an easing animation, right? When you tap on a button, maybe it gives you a smart anime where you moving from the right with a duration of let's say 300 microseconds, right? So these are all micro interactions. When you are loading your website or something, you actually get to see a loading screen and all that. Some are very engaging to the extent that you wouldn't even want to leave the loading page, right? But fortunately, we have good internet, so yeah, we leave the loading page. Yeah. So that's micro interactions. And then why do we need micro interactions? So micro interactions provides feedback, immediate feedback, right? Assuming you click on submit button, you are submitting a form, you click on submit button, nothing is happening. Like you are just there now, then the page will just change. It won't give you the best of experience, right? That's why when you click on submit button, you either see submitting or you see a loader indicating that, oh, there's an action going on or there's something going on, right? So it provides that feedback to the user for the user to actually see what you are doing, right? Okay. And also you say that it enhances the sense of direction and manipulation, right? So it makes the interface feel more responsive and tangible, right? Some of I used one application, a mobile application that when you go forward, it actually uses move in. When you go back, it moves out. So it's kind of like giving you, okay, you came from here, you went here, you are going here, and that kind of vibe. So it gives you a sense of that direction and manipulation, right? So your mind actually registers that if anytime you are going to take an action, it's going to move in, right? So if it's not moving, you see that, then you know that there's something wrong or something. You can raise that issue, right? And it also helps to prevent errors. It guides users and then point them to the next action. Sorry, points them to the next action. A correct example I'll give you is mostly if you see some websites, their hero section covers the entire screen, right? So 1090 by 180 and 1080 or 1920 by 1080. Then they have a micro or an animated arrow which is pointing down. So it's more of like pointing. So it gives you the sense that okay, you can scroll downwards and then see. And then sometimes when you scroll to the latter part of the screen, getting to the footer, you see an animated arrow pointing up, right? Give you some bounce effect. And then when you click on it, it takes you straight to the start of the page, right? That's one use of micro interactions to guide users, and then it adds delight, right? It adds delight. You mostly when you go to Instagram, you'll be seeing some wild animations that people do, and then they'll be comparing developers to designers, and then they'll be like, the designer does this, and then developer is fighting with the designer, yeah, that kind of vibe. So you see the load or reload effect on mobile when you pull it down, then gives you some loading effect, so it adds that delight and then makes the experience more enjoyable and then memorable as well. At the end, I'll show you a site where you actually get. I enjoy their animations and then interactions on that page. Right, it's very nice. So sometimes I just go there and then go and play around. So at the end, I'll share some with you, and then you also go through and see. Right, so moving on, let's look at some best practices in prototyping. Right. So when you are prototyping, we make sure we start from low fidelity. I know most of us don't do it, right? But it's a best practice, right? So if you try doing it, it will help you to save costs and all that, right? So you should start from low fidelity, and then also you should focus on the key user flows, right? There are some flows that are not needed. You don't worry too much about it. You should keep animations purposeful. Don't animate just for animation's sake. We know some of us, we know we are good at animations. Yes, but don't overdo. Keep it simple, go straight, and then keep your work very purposeful and straight to the goal. Then you should test frequently, right? Don't assume your users will like it. You'll be surprised that you do an animation that you love, but you take it out there and it's bomb, right? So test frequently to get your prototypes in front of real users and then see. That's when you actually get to know if you are doing the right thing. And then you should document your interactions of which we don't do, right? Make sure you document your interactions, okay? Because you are guiding the developers to develop what you have done. So you have to make sure you document your interactions. So if you hover, how is the hover effect going to be like, right? Now Figma provides the dev tools where you can actually see the effects and all that. But as a good designer, you should document these things so that your developers can look at it and they know, okay, when I hover on this on hover, it should give me this up to effect. It should use this animation. It should use this duration and all that. So at the end, you see that they've done just like what you want them to do, right? And then last and the most important point to me is to organize your files. I sometimes take a look at some designers' files and then I'll be like, whoa, oh, this is more of like a structured slam, right? A slam by structured because you have files there, but it's a slam in there. Understand? So make sure you structure your files well. If you are designing, you want to start, maybe you have your thumbnail, you have your style guide, you have on another page you have your mood board, another page you have your mid-fi or your low-fi, mid-fi, hi-fi, another page for prototyping, and then another page for maybe a draft or bin, right? So structure the file, and then when you go to maybe your hi-fi, you can actually when you go to your hi-fi, you can actually get let's say page labels, right? And then you just create a frame, and then if you are working on or you can use a section. So if you are working on authentications, you label it as authentications, put all your screens for authentications there. Like just keep the file very organized and neat, right? It will actually help developers as well when they are using that, right? And then lastly, we look at principles for interactions, micro interactions. Yeah, so as I was saying, micro interactions. So principles you have to take a look at is it should be clear and concise, right? The interaction should instantly confirm what's happening. You can't just do what you want, right? So if you click on submit, then the background will change. Some arrow will fly from somewhere. Then it's not communicating, right? But submit the this button becomes let's say a disabled button with submitting and then a loader on it, right? This gives you an instant communication of what's happening, and then it should be consistent. Your animation you use for a button or the hero section should be the same animation you use on your button throughout the design. Shouldn't change it or else you confuse the users, right? So yeah, It should be short and focused. Don't overdo. Just like I said, yeah, don't overdo. Yeah, sometimes we get so excited and then we do things, but in the end, we are looking at how best we can optimize usability and user experience. And then also we have to think about the business aspect as well. How is this contributing to the business goals and then making the helping the business to make profits, right? So we as UX designers, we have to think about all these things. We have a lot of children to think about, so don't go and focus too much on one particular thing and then leave the other children, and then you end up just um, taking care of one child and the rest of the children will become um, vagabonds. Yeah, so we shouldn't do that, right? We should make it subtle and not overwhelming. All right, you should avoid excessive or jarring animations. The goal is to enhance, not to distract, right? So you see some dance, some Charlie, giddy giddy things be, but we are not trying to overwhelm. Right? We are keeping it simple, right? Yeah. So to end this, I would say a well-designed micro interaction often goes unnoticed, right? But its absence is keenly felt. You understand? So you shouldn't do interactions that you find. Some interactions are wow, depending on the projects you are doing. Say I'm working for a gaming company where I have to build their landing page. People are expecting something, right? Even though still we are not to give very distracting animations, but since it's a game website, we have to have animations like wild animations, but it should be minimal and then very straightforward, right? So you can make use of scroll effects, 3D effects, 3D scrolling, and all that, which are very minimal but communicates very well what you're doing, right? Yeah. So without much, I do. You can pass on your questions, but hold on to your questions and then let's jump into Figma and then have some fun there. Yeah. So welcome to my Figma. This is my Figma file, right? Yeah. So this is my Figma file, and we'll be enjoying it, right? I mostly spend all my days here, right? Good. So let's take let's quickly take a frame. Right. I like using 16 because I want to use 16. So I'm building myself for 16. Good. So creating a prototype. Say we have two screens. I know you people are sharks already. Yeah, I've been to your meetings and all that. But let me just take it from here. Okay. Right. Uh-huh. So when I have a button on this screen. Let me give it a radius of 24. Right. And I'm saying that okay, for this button, when I click on it, it should take me to this page, right? So looking at this, we have a trigger, we have actions, we have destinations, we have animations, and we have states. Right, so let's take triggers. So on trigger, if you are coding, okay, on click you are giving more of like a click function, or you are giving more of like a trigger function, right? So for this trigger, we have on tap. That's when you tap. You have on drag while you are hovering, while you are pressing. You have key and gamepad, which is used to take input, right? So when you want to make an interactive keyboard where you actually get to type, right? You can use the key and gamepad to get those inputs. You have on mouse enter. When mouse enters the page, something happens, right? You have on mouse leave. We have touch down and then touch up, and then we have after delay. Good. So those are the triggers. You can explore more, right? They are not difficult to use. They are very easy to use here. So with much practice, you actually get a hang of it. I've never tried a touch down and then touch up before, right? Because I've never come to a project that I will use that, but I will explore it one day or another. Then we have actions, right? So the actions we have, either you are navigating to or you are changing to. Change to mostly becomes effective or active when you are in the same set or component sets, right? Then you change to a particular thing when you are in the same group. Right, we have back, where it will navigate you to where you're coming from, right? And then you have scroll to. Scroll to is mostly used in an in-page scrolling, right? So you see a landing page with four navigations. You have the home, about, and then services and contacts as before the you get to the footer. So when I connect the button to, let's say, the about us, and then say okay, destination should be about us, but I should scroll to, right? When I click on the button, it's going to scroll in the app, right, to that particular sector or section of the landing page. We have open link. Open link is mostly for when you are more of like opening an external link, right? So you can design, let's say, Microsoft SSO, then you embed your SSO, Microsoft SSO link to it, right? So you say that open link, then you embed the link there, right? So you put the link here, and then when the, once the person clicks on it, it opens a new tab. You understand? Yeah. Then we have set variable. So set variable is when you actually have declared variables in your file that you want to use. Then you have set variable mode. That's when you want to change maybe dark mode, light mode, and all that. Then you can equally have a conditional statement to actually write conditional statements in your design. So you want to make authentications, you can add your conditions that if your input field element for email is corresponds to this, and then your password corresponds to that, when you click on this, it should actually do this and that, right? So it's more of like giving conditions to it. And then you have open overlay. Open overlay, there you've seen you click on something, overlay will come. You click this one, overlay will come. It's like designers, you like overlay too much, but that's open overlay. And then you have swap overlay, right? So when you're prototyping, and then maybe you open an overlay and you want the person to type, but when they type, it should change to another overlay without navigating. Then you swap that overlay with another overlay, right? Then the last one, as the name suggests, will close the overlay. Right, so this is a quick run through with the actions, right? So let me change it to navigate. Then we have destinations. So destination is going to provide you with all the frames that you've created in that particular file. So that's why we encourage you to always name your frames, and then it's yes, just to help you with the destination. So assuming I have say I have iPhone 16 one, iPhone 16 2, sir, and I don't have this one, it's going to make destination difficult. So let's say I have here, I write it as I say this is my home screen, then this is about screen, right? Yeah, so getting the two. Yeah. So now if I come to destination, you see it's giving me home screen or about our screen. You understand? Yeah, so we have home screen here, in showing that this is where we are coming from. So that's where destination is. So if you have about thousands of frames here and you go to destination, it's going to display all the thousands, right? And then you can do it. Then when you come to animations, we have the instant animation. That's instant. We have yeah, enjoy my phone small. Enjoy my phone small. So we have instant animation. Yeah, so instant means is nothing is going to happen, right? It's just going to be instant. So when I tap on this, it just goes instant, right? Yeah. Then we have dissolve. So for dissolve, when you tap on it, is going to dissolve, just like the name says, right? Dissolve, so it's going to dissolve, right? And then we have for under animations again, you have smart anime, you have moonbeam, you have move in, move out, push, slide in, slide out. Move in, move out, push. We've seen it in our presentation slides and all that, animations, transitions, and all that. So I'm not going to hit on it, but I'm going to hit on smart anime. Smart animate is giving us a curve where you have a linear curve. So we use a linear curve when we actually want to, um, how would I say it? When there is no change in the motion, right? It moves more of like moves like a robot, an automated something. So we have a loading page, right? A loading screen or a loader move in one direction without moving changing. Right, so with that it's best to use a linear. Right. We have ease in. So for ease in, it's more of like the animation where it starts. Let me show you something here. Right. So pick another frame, iPhone 16 of course, and copy this and paste, remove the interaction, make it 44, 44, and then make it 62. No, 62 is not big. And then make this one 999. Good. Now let me hide this. Right, you let me put it somewhere here. Then duplicate it to here, and then push this one up to here. Right, yeah. Then let me give it interactions again. That okay on top, it should ease in at this duration. So duration is it should take 300 microseconds to do. So when I tap on it, let's see again. When I tap, so you see it started slow and it moved very fast to the end. Right, so that's easing. Easing will start the animation slow and then move fast to the end. Right, so let's try ease out and then see. Let's watch again. You let me increase the duration to say 800. Now you'll see it clearly. Right, so you see that easing started slow and then move fast to the end. Then ease out will start fast and then move slow, getting to the end. You understand? Yeah. Then we have ease in and out. So it will, we know ease in start fast and then slow to the end, and then ease out to start slow and then so let's combine it with ease in and out, right? So ease in and out to start fast, then speeds in the middle, then slows down when it gets to the end. So it's more of like combining the two, right? Yeah. Then we have ease in back. So ease in back is one. Did you see? So easing back is going to go fast but go beyond the starting point or go below the starting point and then speed up to the end. Right? So when we look at it again, let me increase it to yeah. So if I tap on this, it is goes in, then moves fast to the end. So it is in but backwards. Right? That's what easing back does. Yeah. You can play around with the animations or the curves. You have ease out back. So ease out back, this is what it's going to do. So it's going to go beyond the stopping point, then comes back to stop. So it will start slow, speeds up small, then comes back. That's what ease out back does. So if you combine ease in and out back, that's what you do. And then we have the custom Bezier curve. So custom Bezier curve is just the same as ease in and out back but customized, right? So you can actually customize how you want your you can customize how you want your animations to move, right? uh-huh. So you can customize it. So if I say with this If I tap on it, right, so you see it starts very slow, then has a sharp movement, then slows down again, right? So see, yeah, so that's easy and out back. We can pull it down. Remember ease in, so it's going to go down, spikes, and then slows down. So it's more of like giving you the um customization to your easy in and out back, right? Using back and like everything, but you can customize it yourself to get what you want. We mostly use this. I've used this in a parallax effect where you, yeah, I think I have it. I should have it somewhere here. Yeah, so I have this parallax effect where you actually get make use of the easing. Yeah, so this one. So you understand. So you see, start slow, speeds speeds up, and then moves. Start slow, speeds up, and then move. Start slow, speeds up, and then move. Yeah, so that's use of one use of the easing, name the custom Bezier curve. Right, good. So we have gentle, quick, bouncy, slow, and a custom spring. I'll leave that one to you. They are not difficult, so I want you to explore it on your own. I've tackled the difficult ones, so you can explore the easy ones, and then you get used to it. I'll let your instructor give you maybe a practice on it, then I'll look at it myself. Okay, but always remember, have fun when you are doing the prototype, but keep the goal in mind. Always have fun when you are doing it. That's the best part of it, right? Yeah, so I've literally explained everything. Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, so now let's try and then play around a little before we bring it to an end. Yeah, so we have, as usual, we have iPhone 16. So I would say my splash screen, right? hmm And then for this splash screen, if you remember first how Twitter was, right? Uh-huh. So assuming I have, let me go and copy. Okay, let me just do what I want to do. So I have a loader. So I want to create a loading page. I want to just create an animated loading page. So let's say I have this oval as my logo, right? Uh-huh. And then we have the logo here. And then what I want the logo to do is, remember, I have this one. Let me put it here. I want the logo to come from down, get to the middle, then um, opens up to become the background of the screen, then moves back to stay at the edge of the page like all logos do, right? And then we have our text come in and our buttons as well, right? So let me quickly run through that. Yeah, so follow as I do. So once I have this, remember my ellipse is hidden here, right? Good. So I duplicate this, and then make sure anytime you are doing interactions or micro interactions or prototypes and all that, and then you want an animation to like keep track of itself, you should duplicate that screen, right? So here, once I have this one, splash screen, I'll say splash screen 2, then I choose my eclipse and then I position it to the center, right? Then I duplicate this one again, then I increase it, right? So once I increase it like this, okay, I'll say yeah, I want it like this. Then I duplicate again, so this is going to be 3. Then I duplicate again, then I'll say this should be my splash screen. right? So for the 4, I move it to the top like this. Nope. Yeah. So I move it to the top like this. Then here I have text, right? So I have text. I say, um, welcome. Let me check. I like work sans, so let me use work sans. Work sans. Yeah. 32 is okay. Yeah, so say welcome. I use one e. I make this one medium. I say the journey just started. Then I push it to say here. I reduce it a little to create the sense of hierarchy. I make it a regular, then reduce this to 16. Right. So you have this one. You have welcome. Then it just started. Right. So here, then say I have my let's get started button. So let me quickly create a button. I give it 12, say 8. Then let me use, before my instructor will kill me, let me use the move. Yeah. So like this, let me change the color to F. Make this one bold. I like fully rounded, so 32. Good. Let me reduce this to still 12. Nah, let me make it 16. Right. And then make it fill. Okay, fill. Yeah, so just messing around. See 48. Add something to it. Take your seats and enjoy the ride. Let me try and be more creative. Add this. Yeah, like this. Let me try and then add some grid to help me out here. So I use a 4. I use a stretch. I use a margin of 24 and a cut of 16. Good. Then now I can make this one like this, and then I can stretch this like this, bring it somewhere here, then make it 24. 32 is okay. Good. So something like this. So let me hide my grid. So I have this, right? So if I want to play this animation, but let me copy this, paste it here. This one should come from okay, let me remove, yeah, maintain the frame, move this one. Okay, copy, paste it here. Let me move this one. Let me think about it. Okay, this one will move up before this one will come. Yeah, so let me move this one rather. So move this one here to somewhere here, here, and this one to move a little. Let me, yeah, yeah. So with this, move it, move it outside it. It's outside it. Good. Let me unclip. Then I duplicate this one here. Then under it, under 5, we have this frame, and I can center it. Right. So as I'm centering it, put this one to the center. I put this to the center as well. Right. But remember, it's on the same. If you come to splash 4, we have it here. Right. So let's copy it from splash 4. Can paste on splash 3, splash 2, splash 1. Just want to keep the consistency, right? So once you have this, we can then say, okay, so for here we want the connection that shouldn't touch, should be after delay 800. We should have an ease in, or let's try ease out. Ease out to start slow, right, and end faster. Then we give we give, let's say, 800, right? So the state is when you are actually resetting the scroll position, you have restart animation and all that. So when you have a component set, right, or you have a component on a page, and then you want that component to reset its state. So once maybe you've moved from home to about, right, but if you come back to home, you see that where you left the scrolling to, the scrolling is still there, right? So you want to reset it. So you want to come back to home and you start at the hero section, right? So you set the scroll position, right? You reset it, right? So you have after delay, then here as well you have after delay to here. Say after delay 800, you have another after delay to 800. We have after delay to 800, right? Good. So let's play this and then see how it plays out. So okay, moves down, moves up, this one comes in. Right, do you understand? Yeah, so you can play it again and see. So when you play, our logo comes from down, it moves down, moves to the top, and then our letter. So you can see our letter, our words here, the welcome, and then just the welcome, and then its subtext comes in before the logo comes in. So you can see when I was creating it, I first pushed in the frame, I pushed the get started and the button first out before we added the whole frame out there, right? So I'll play it one more time. And you have this, then moves to the top, then comes in. Yeah, so that's um, just a simple animation that we can look at. Yeah, and we can also look at let's try this fun part. I have about yeah, 10 minutes or 15 minutes to go, so let's try this fun part. So we have this frame, I have this frame 16 as usual. Then we want to create a nice actual background effect, so we have frame, let me use a rectangle, or no, let me use an ellipse 2. So I have this ellipse 2, I give it a color, this color, and I give it an effect. I'll say layer blur, then I increase the blur to something like this, right? Good. I duplicate this, then I give it a different color, say the gold color, like this. Good. Then I have another color, and the lady says, so I'll go for pink. before they will chew me, right? So yeah, then I'll duplicate, then go for I know Andy to kill me, so you let me choose blue for Andy will come and kill me. Yeah, so you have these four colors, right? So for these four colors, I'm going to let me make it a big, and then reduce your opacity to say 50, and make it 40. Yeah, so we have this now, so you can create a frame of them. You know the shortcut key for creating frames, right? So Control Alt G to create your frame, right? So I have this here, right? So I bring it out here, right? And then I duplicate this like this, and then say you say I rotate this and this, right? Then I rotate this color and this color, right? I'm still within the frame, remember? And say I duplicate this again, I rotate this and this, then I rotate this and this a little to here, then let me do a last duplicate, then I rotate this and this like this. Good. So once I have this, I can select all of this, right, and then create a component set. So once I create a component set, now if I'm adding interactions to it, you can see the change to is active. So remember I said if the change will become active once you have a component set, right? So but I don't want to touch, I want after delay, then this one I want them to move in a linear way, shouldn't move more of like faster and slower at the end or something. I just want a linear way. So thereafter delay to I can make it say 400, nah, 200. Yeah, then we go do it same for here, 200, do same for here, after delay 200, then take it back to the first, right? Let me say 200. Good. So once I'm done, I can just come pick an instance of the first one, put it here. Right, so let me just position it somewhere here in the middle. Yeah, then let me see if I can scale it. Scale it to 1000. Oh no, I said 1000. Good. So let me close the scale, and then let's see how this plays out. So you see how it's playing out. Alright, so let's try, and then I don't like the way it moves the sharp curve, so let me increase the duration to this. Let me increase the duration, and then so I'll do it like ease out. So like I said, you can just be playing around with it. I like playing around a lot, and in the end I get what I want. So I do it ease out 1200, ease out 1200. Good. So yeah, now this one is more lively. You understand? So this can actually be my background, and then I'll build something on it. So say I have this, then I'll have let me lock it. It's worrying me. Yeah. So I have this, then maybe I'll actually get my say a rectangle on it. Right. I should approach 0, 20. Right. Let me say 35. Right. Then maybe I'll have this my text here on it. Change this one to height. But let me see if I can get some 3D animated. Yeah, Spidey. I love my Spidey. You know that. Yeah, so I bring it here. Good. So something like this. I take it to the back. Uh, I take this one to front. I put my design to the down like this. Then maybe here I can give an auto layout here and give it say for this auto layout I give it 12, 12. Yeah, and then for this particular one I give it radius of 24. Give it a fill, white fill. White fill will be okay. I hug it. Right, I give it breathing room, like it's suffocating. Yeah, Mami Aba will say, design is great, it's crying for this space. So I don't want my design to cry for space. So maybe I make it 12. Right, yeah. So something like this, and then I reduce the font size to say 28. Right. So yeah, in the end, we get a nice design with like some wired up background effect. Understand? Yeah. So yeah, there's another way you can add micro interactions to make your work nice. Right. Uh-huh. Then we also have lastly, before I go, one of the important things we do is variables, the use of variables, right? So I'm going to have the use of variables. I don't want to do anything kitty kitty yeah. So say assuming we have iPhone 16, right? And then we are going to have say we have a text here, say 0, right? Then we have shift 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 something like this, right? So say this is add, we have this to be minus, and I'll say we are adding to cut. Good. So we are adding to cut. So now we have 1, 2, 3. So when you add, you should add. When you subtract, you subtract. Right. So we have to create a variable for this. So we come to variables. Let me create a new collection. I would say this is UX journals. I hope I pronounced it right, Abba. So I create a number boolean or a number variable. I give it to 0. Then I come here and then I attach that number variable to it. So UX journals, you see number. So once you create it, you see number here, then you attach the number to it. So now this let me put all in auto layout. Good. So now this number here has a variable attached to it. So now I'm going to handle that variable. So here, let's pay close attention to it. We have, yeah, so when I come to prototype, I add interactions, and then on top, I instead of navigate, I add a condition, right? Because I want to check the condition. So I'm saying that if the number I created, that's this number, is I want to check it should be 0, right? So if the number is equal to 0, right? If the number is equal to 0, then we want to set the variable we created. That's the number variable. The number variable. This number variable to number variable plus 1, right? So you want to add 1, 1, 1, right? So let's see if it's working. So we add 1. Okay, so it's not going again. Just 1. So let's check our conditions. Yeah, so we are saying that if, so it's going to be number plus 1. That's if it's equal to 0. So we have to change our condition and say that if the number variable is less than, if the number variable is, we have to keep adding. So always check if it's greater than 0, or yeah, greater than or equal to, let's try greater than or equal to 0, then you should keep on adding. I think that should work. Yeah, so that if it's greater than or equal to 0, we can keep adding. So let me hack this one, okay, so that we can keep adding, right? So if the number, that's this one, is greater than or equal to 0, because if it's 0, it's equal to, so it meets the condition, so you add. If it's greater 1, it meets the condition, so to keep adding, right? So that was it. So you can have here the minus, where you can also add the interactions to it. That okay, if it's conditioned that if, now you want to check that the number, if the number is not equal to 0, right? If it's not equal to 0, then we should set the variable number to number minus 1, minus 1, right? Good. So when you subtract, keep subtracting. So let's try subtracting and see if it will end. So good. So now you are not entering negative, right? So yeah, so now if you're adding two cards, it's going to be simple. You can add, you can subtract, and it reaches 0. That's it, right? So there are lots of ways you can use. So I've taught you how to actually use the variables. You can create a string variable, you can create a boolean variable, and all that. You understand? Yes. So that's more about it. A minute. Give me a minute to see. I had no. No. Yeah. So this is another use of yeah, creating so you have this, so you see how it moves. So you can see that it's playing here, that after delay you should navigate to this, and then you have a custom bezier which starts slow, faster, and then moves, right? So it moves in like this. Then you have this interactions to it, right? You have these interactions to it, right? Good. Yeah, so that's a play of it. You can also look at the linear one, where you have this, right? So that's another way. You can have this one. mm, See if I have it here. Okay, this will have to do component. Where is the main component? Okay, so there's it. Right. So these are all plays of animations. I was just playing around and all that. Right. So you just play around with your tools and then you get there. Yeah. So this brings us to the end of today's lesson. It's been fun. And then I was actually waiting or expecting to get to meet you guys, but no worries. I linked you are writing exams and all that. So we will get in touch. If you have any questions, you can leave it. I'll address that for you. Bye. So bye. I'll see you guys.